Good evening, and welcome to Unexplained Reality, the podcast about the weird, strange, and unexplained, but real. We are delighted to have you with us. Please grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and enjoy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Unexplained Reality. I am Brian Quinn, and with me is my son.
Harrison Quinn.
So, what's up?
Hanging out, man.
Hanging out, man.
Two
Fun stuff.
jobs, school,
I know, you're double working now.
pandemic.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff going on.
Anything interesting?
Project car sucks. Might
Yeah, well.
sell it. That's how things go.
That's for sure.
Other than that, just hanging out, man. Slogging through school.
Yeah, so if anybody knows anything about a Frankenstein 1988 Firebird
Trans Am GTA.
that won't run cool when you're actually driving it,
Hit me up. Hit us up.
Find Harrison and talk to him
Please.
because he could
Hit me on
really
Instagram.
use the help.
803.hq, or you can email the podcast.
That's right.
If any of you would happen to know about that.
Unexplained.reality@yahoo.com.
Yeah, Franken-car.
Yeah. That's been sitting way longer than it's been on the road.
Yeah, much, much longer. It is a pretty old car. It's 31, going on 32 this year. Not super old, not the oldest car on the road, but it's definitely had its miles in. The Odo is about 160, 170,000 miles, but I suspect that it's probably got closer to 200,000 miles on it. It's definitely had its leg in life. Definitely ran its miles. So
Oh, yeah. But it sounds good. I mean, it really sounds nice when it is running.
just won't stop getting hot. It doesn't actually overheat to where it like gets hot and something happens or it turns off. I just can't keep it below 260,
it just
250.
knows it's hot.
Just knows it's so hot
So
outside.
I'm hot and I know it.
Yep. And it's spray painted black, so that probably
flat
isn't
black.
Flat black isn't probably helping either.
Sucking all that heat in.
But still, yeah. Other than that,
Yeah. It looks like it came from the set of Mad Max.
it really does. The block of the engine is from 1996 from a truck or something. Is an L31 block, if you know anything about LSs. And then the heads on the engine are from 1988. They're the original heads. And then the transmission is a 1985 from a Camaro. But it fits on the Firebird with some fabrication on our part. It's a Franken car at best.
It fits because we have a good hammer.
It fits because we made it fit. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, there was a lot of banging trying to get the pilot bearing out. I've got it upstairs. I've kept it as a trophy because it took like a whole bottle of MAP gas, and like 3 or 4 different size slide hammers to get it out. I mean, literally took us like 3 hours just to get that one little Timken bearing out. It took so long.
Jeez.
But yeah, that's the way things go.
Yep. When you got a cobbled together car, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough when cars are old and you're working on them, but when they're cobbled together like this one.
It's not. If it was an all original 1988 Firebird, I wouldn't have had a single problem because we have a service manual. We bought an original service manual from that year model of Firebird, and it tells us everything about the car. So that's not the problem. Is that there's pieces from other
the
cars
fact too
in
that
there.
it used to be a manual and now it's automatic is awesome.
Other
too.
way around. Used to be an automatic.
Oh
now it's a
yeah,
manual.
that's right. It was automatic and now it's a manual. That's awesome.
It's you say that it is. I mean, it's cool that it's happened, but whoever did the fabrication work for the clutch pedal and the clutch slave cylinder did it very well. We didn't even know that it used to be an automatic until we pulled the tunnel out.
Big hole.
Found the big hole in the trans tunnel that
I wonder why we were
had been
feeling
cut
kind
out.
of crazy driving down the road.
Yeah, there's heat coming through the shifter area,
Yeah.
and we pull the like center console out,
Heat.
and there's just a hole
It's
in it.
noxious gas.
Yeah, the way they mounted the clutch pedal and all the hydraulics for the clutch, I mean, was flawless. So whoever did that part did a really good job. I don't know about. I think it was two different people that
I
did
thought
that.
that was crazy when you told me that. I was like, that's crazy.
I didn't because I didn't even consider that until the first time I put it up for sale. Somebody messaged me and was like, is it a swap or was it a special or what? Because I know the Firebirds, the 88, the 350 engine didn't come with a manual trans. And I was like, really? So I looked up the trim levels, and the 350 engine that I have, the L98, never came with a manual transmission. Only the 5 liters came with a manual. So it was like, at that point, I was like, so then it was definitely an automatic. It was either definitely an automatic and they switched it to a manual, or it was a 5 liter and then they switched a 5.7 liter in, but the manual still cobbled together. So, but the manual transmission is from a 85 Camaro. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I had to put money on it, I'd say that it used to be an automatic and they swapped it to a manual.
Yeah.
But all the clutch work is really good, done really well, mounted and everything. None of us knew. You, me, Larry, nobody knew.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think the movement of it, like when you shift gears, like you get lunges, the shifter.
Well,
but I think that's because it's not mounted
there was
properly.
The trans,
it's like a gaping hole.
The trans mount was busted in two. It was two pieces of metal, and on each piece of metal there was a big piece of rubber, and it was one piece of rubber, but then the rubber tore in half. But got that fixed. Put a polyurethane mount, a nice shiny red polyurethane mount with zinc plate.
Sweet.
Zinc plated steel, so it looks all nice, but
still gets hot. But anyways, it's been a challenge for sure.
Definitely.
Anything else going on? School and work, right?
Not a whole lot, yeah, other than that.
Well, so anyways, if you haven't listened to us before, if you have a story or encounter that you would like to share, you can do so by emailing us at unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. If you want to buy 1988 Frankenbird.
I've actually got somebody that said that they were interested in it. He's from Jacksonville, Florida, and he asked for a date, and I told him, I was like, maybe this day, and he was like, okay, well, give me 2 or 3 days, let me work out logistics, and I'll hit you back. And I was like, okay. He was like, is it overheating at idle or when I drive it? I was like, do you plan on driving it from here back to Jacksonville, Florida? And he was like, if it's possible. And I was like, no. You're going to want to bring a trailer. He was like, okay. Right. He's like, I can do that. I was like, okay. Lord. Please don't try and drive this thing home. You will not have a good time.
You know the story behind it. So if you want a 1988 Frankenbird, just hit up Harrison.
The motor's overheating. If you fix that, I mean, it's a great car. When it's not, before it gets hot, when I turn it on and drive it and everything.
Well, except for getting high while you're driving it.
Yeah. Well, we've eliminated that part.
Oh, you closed up the hole?
Yeah, we didn't weld it shut, but we've got tape. We've got
so it's better. Duct tape? Did you use duct tape?
I wish. No, we used like the metal reflective tape.
Okay,
all close. Around it, and we've got it all, and we've covered all the boots and everything.
Isn't that like HVAC?
Yeah,
duct tape.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So now there's
still
no
duct tape.
Noxious fumes entering the cabin. But it's a fast car. It runs and everything. Runs good. The bones of the car are good. The chassis. There's no problems, no serious rust. None of the body panels have rust. The frame doesn't have rust. There's no serious, structural issues with the car.
Right.
The floor pans are good. It's very good bones. It'd be good for, I say project car. I got it as a project car, thinking I was gonna have to do a few things to it and it would be okay. But we pulled the motor and trans out and completely redid the motor, rings, bearings, whole 9 yards. And still, it's getting hot. We can't figure it out. So we're going to try a few things. If not, get it sold.
Yep. So last time, if you want to buy it.
Buy it.
You can hit, anyways, if you have a story or an encounter, you can hit us up on unexplained.reality@yahoo.com or our website, www.unexplainedreality.com. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook group, all that. And if you want to just buy the bird, you know how to do it. You got all the ways to contact Harrison.
Yep.
So, I don't really have any news stuff. I'm trying to think. We talked about the jetpack guy last week on the last episode. I don't have anything new about that. I haven't heard any more. It just like dropped off of the news.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. The last thing I heard was that the FBI and the FAA were investigating it, but other than that, I haven't heard anything come of that investigation, and I haven't heard if they found him or if they knew who it was or if crazy.
I'm really surprised that they haven't
They've probably
got somebody. Or
they probably have somebody. They just haven't publicly announced it yet. I bet there's I'd imagine a very, very short list of people who are even capable of having a jetpack.
Well, why would they have that on the
high.
news? They're right now sensationalizing all the rioting and
they may have found it. They may have released it.
Yeah,
We may just
we
not
would
have heard
never
about
know.
it. Yeah.
I know somebody that lives in L.A. I should hit him up and see if he's heard anything about it. But anyways, I don't have anything really other than that. If you don't, you have any strange stuff. I did see a picture on a Facebook group that supposedly somebody took. They don't say necessarily it's a Bigfoot, but it's a pretty impressive picture. And it was sent to the guy Steve Isdall. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, since I am very good at butchering stuff. But he's the guy that runs the howtohunt.com and the YouTube channel. But basically, somebody sent it to him, and I actually watched the video the other day where he was talking about it and showed it. But basically, these people were, think they were on a road, like a logging road, and I'm not even sure where it was at. It had to be in the Rockies or maybe up in Alaska or somewhere like that, because it was big mountains. And they took this picture, and their dog is in the foreground, kind of to the side, and it's just looking at the scenery, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's overcast or getting dark or early in the morning, but you see the trees off to the left, and it's kind of shadowy looking, right? They're very dark. They're just black looking, and like the light is away from you, like out towards the mountains and stuff. And I think it's overcast. I don't think there's like bright sunlight out that way. It's just lighter. And you see these trees on the left, and then down towards the bottom you can tell it's a slope going down. You see another tree right at the end of those, a smaller one. Well, once they took that picture, they looked at it and were like, "Wow, that tree looks very dark," looking. And when they sent it to the How to Hunt guy, he took the picture and edited it and lightened it up, and there's a freaking creature standing there. It's not a tree. It's something standing there. It's black. You can see that it's got hair, because there's hair like sticking off on the elbow where it's like, and it's got like the face is almost black too. It's like a lighter gray. I mean, you know how like gorillas look. You see like the black hair, and then some of them have like a dark charcoal gray face, leathery looking face. That's what it looks like to me. But to me, it looks kind of elongated, almost like to me, it looks almost like a snout, because, like the Beast of Seven Shoots picture, it kind of resembles that to me. But it might just be the way it's standing. But I mean, it's still, and it's just looking straight at whoever's taking the picture, or the dog or something. I mean, you can't see any detail in the face, but it's creepy as hell. I mean, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you took a picture of that and didn't realize it and you got it home, I would imagine that person would have had like chills up their back.
Where's that at?
It was on howtohunt.com. It was on the How to Hunt YouTube channel. I'll show you the picture in a minute. We'll go back to it and look at it, but it's pretty impressive. It's pretty crazy, because he shows the before picture and the after he did the work on it, and I would have never even. I don't know that I
Assumed.
would even realize it was something there. I
Oof.
just assumed it was a tree.
There's a black giraffe somewhere creeping people out.
Yeah. Well, no, it's bulky. I mean, you can see
Like,
the
was
shoulders
it like
and the
humanoid?
head and stuff.
Like,
Oh yeah, it's
okay,
human looking.
okay.
I mean,
I missed that part.
you can't see like the arms separate. It's just like because it's big and it's hairy. Its arms are to the side. I'm guessing that's what it is, and you just see like from the lower chest up because it's down a slope. But whatever it is, I mean, you don't really know. Like he wrote him back and said you need to go back to that spot and you need to put somebody there and you need to take multiple pictures from different angles, different points of view, different distances, so you can reference how big this creature was. I mean, to me, it looks like it's probably big, but you don't really know until you get that point of view of somebody going back there, and get that perspective. But it's pretty crazy, and I think it's called if you go to his channel on YouTube, and it's called blah blah blah. Let me think what that video was called. Let's see. It was called Life Nearly Lost was the name of the video. And yeah, it was pretty impressive. But anyways, I think that's the only thing I really jumped out at me this week when I saw that. I did get a new book from Hamerson Peters, so if you don't read haven't read any of his books, you should go read them. I read the what is the one underneath there called? Legends of Nahanni Valley by Hamerson Peters, and I just got Mysteries of Canada Volume 1. He's a cool guy, good author if you like stories and legends and cool stuff like that. So historical stuff. I think that's it. You got anything else? I'm just rambling.
Mm-mm. No, I'm good.
All right. Well, tonight we talked with Brian, who is we heard about him through a mutual friend, and he had an encounter in that Nantahala National Forest, which is in North Carolina, and it's kind of intriguing. Obviously, it wasn't like he didn't visually see anything, but the story of what happened and is pretty crazy. And it's one of those things, if you're out in the woods and that happens, it's kind of creepy also. So anyways, take a listen, and hope you enjoy it.
Either.
But anyways, what we'll do is we'll just let you go. You can introduce yourself if you want, and kind of give some background, and then roll right into it. So we'll just.
Sounds good. All right, this is Brian Stansel. Had what I believe to be an encounter about 4 or 5 years ago. It was in October. It was during the week, and the reason I remember all that is because it was right after they had stocked the upper Nantahala River. They always stock it on the first Saturday of October. So it was like the next week, and it was during the week, and I'd taken a week off to be up here to fly fish. That's when they open it back up for the fly fishing. And for whatever reason, there weren't many people at all on the river that day. It might have been the second week of October, I'm not sure. But that day there were only just maybe 3 or 4 fishermen on the whole river on the upper part of the Nantahala. And I found this one area that I'd not really fished before. I'd fished downstream of it and upstream of that area, but there weren't any fishermen in that area that morning, so I stopped there. And it wasn't first thing in the morning. It was probably, 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 in the morning. It was before lunch. And I was catching fish. I'd caught several fish in the stream. I was 3/4 of the way over from the road side of the river towards the other bank. And just some background about the upper Nantahala. That's the Nantahala Gorge is the mountains just go straight up from the river, and I don't know. Many people may be aware of the Nantahala and the whitewater rafting and all, but this is really up above that part where all the rafters raft. This is up in the actual gorge itself, and the mountainsides just go straight up, rocky outcrops, everywhere, and so I was over on the side where the mountain just goes like straight up, and like I said, I caught some fish, and it was quiet that morning, no wind stirring, nothing. It was a beautiful day, beautiful October day. It was just very peaceful, very nice day, and like I said, it was just really quiet, really calm, and but I was in an area where there were riffles, a lot of riffles, and so it was a little noisy where I was, and then all of a sudden I heard this sound, and I didn't know, I had no idea what it was, and then after a second or two, I couldn't hear anything. It was just back, the same peaceful calm. I was like, well, what was that? Did I really hear that? And I was looking upstream and downstream, and it was really loud, what I heard. It was just a loud noise, and I couldn't pick out what I'd really heard because it just one time, And so then I went right back to fishing again. And again, no one was in sight up or downstream from where I was at, and so maybe after 30 seconds or a minute, maybe later, it did it again, and I was like, oh, I did hear it. That is what I heard, and what it sounded like after the second time, in my mind, it sounded just like I don't know if you're familiar with how an empty Major League Baseball park sounds when the team is just coming out and taking batting practice, and they hit a ball, in the empty stadium, and it makes that cracking sound, and it just echoes.
Right.
That's the way it sounded. It sounded just like that, and I was like, man, where is that coming? I couldn't figure out, because you're down in this gorge, and I couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from, and it just wasn't dawning on me what was happening, what was going on. And then in another, 30 seconds or a minute, it did it again. And that time I just stopped fishing. I just stood there in the river with my rod down to my side, just looking up and down the river like, man, what is this? Because it was loud. I mean, it was loud, just like you were sitting, like I said, in a major league ballpark with that bat hitting that ball. It was,
yeah,
it was really a loud crack.
Yeah, it's like really loud, sharp crack. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was just eerie. I mean, it's like, what is that? And then I don't know how many more times it did it, maybe 2 or 3 more times, and they became a little bit closer in succession, I believe. But like I said, I was just standing there then, and it's like, what is this? What is going on? And I was still standing in the same place. I was standing about 3/4 of the way over to that side, and man, all of a sudden, just this large, huge crack, and I could hear it came to my mind what was happening. The tree was falling, and it was coming down through other trees. You could hear that sound
Right.
as it was falling. And I was like, holy cow, that's a tree coming down. So, and it was right above me, where it was at. And so I'm trying to get back across the stream, and I'm in knee-deep water, and I don't know if you guys have ever waded in a river before with a bunch of little rocks and some big rocks, and, it's all uneven surface.
Yep.
Trying to get back across without, losing my balance and getting swept downstream. But anyway, I was trying to hurry, get across. And just as I got close to the other side. I wasn't completely out of the water, but I was close to the other side. This tree, I mean, it was like a 10-inch, maybe an 8-inch tree, 8 to 10-inch tree at the base. It came, I mean, it was coming. It was coming down that mountain because, like I said, it's almost straight up and down. So it was coming just like it was in a log flume or something. And it came straight down, and as the top of the tree hit the water, it came straight towards me because it was in a perfect, I mean, if I had stood where I was at, it would have hit me. I don't know if it would have killed me, but it would have definitely got me and maybe pinned me underwater. I don't know. But anyway, I made it back across enough to where when it slid in, the tip of the tree was like, I don't know, 5 or 8 feet from me.
Wow.
And the tree was not a rotten tree. It was not an old dead hemlock, because we have dead hemlock
Right.
up here everywhere. It was not a dead hemlock. It was not a tree that should have fallen. Like I said, the wind wasn't blowing. It was calm. And I can't remember really. I didn't look at it specifically at the time because I wasn't equating it with, a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot or anything like that. It was just, okay, a tree fell.
Right.
And I didn't look at the trunk of the tree to see if it was broken, but I believe it was because of all the noise it made when it finally cracked. It made a huge noise then when it cracked and come on down the slope. So I can't say with certainty that it was broken off rather than pushed over, but several weeks after that, I was watching a show, a TV show or something, and they were talking about how hunters and fishermen have these encounters with, a Sasquatch or whatever, where they're doing the tree knocks. And man, cold chills just ran all over me. I was like, that is exactly what happened, because they were doing, I guess recreating some of the things that had happened. So
Right.
I really believe that is what happened, because there was no reason for that tree. Like I said, it had green leaves all over it. It was just crazy how that one tree, came down. It wasn't like a landslide where several trees came down or anything. It was just that one tree and amongst 1,000 trees up that slope, that decided to come down and come right where I was standing. So I really believe that's what happened. I really believe that's what happened.
So, the tree, do you think it was airborne when it came out of the trees, or was it when it was coming down, or?
I don't know. It could have been, because it was coming with speed.
Right.
It was coming.
Something had to give it that force. That's not just a tree falling over and sliding down, right?
Yeah, it was coming. It was. It took maybe. Just thinking about how long it took. Maybe 5 seconds. 6 seconds. It took. Because in 5 or 6 seconds I could have probably made it. 15 feet or so
Right.
from where I was, and it slid 15 feet, just about into the river, maybe 12 feet.
Wow.
So it was an experience, that's for sure. And I've never had anything happen before that, and never had anything happen after that. It was just that one time in that one location, but I haven't been back to that exact location either, because there's usually fishermen around that area.
Right.
But that day there weren't. It was just me as far as I could see in either direction.
Well, that'd have a huge creep factor too added to that. To have that happen when you're by yourself, and
Yep.
you're in a new place.
Yep. And yeah. I usually do fish alone when I'm fly fishing. Sometimes I have a partner, but normally I am fishing alone up here, because I never know when I'm going to get some time off. So if I get a few days off, I'm headed up here, because we have a second home
Right.
here in Nantahala. So
Yeah, I mean,
I come up here.
we've been there. Both of us have been to the outdoor center there, and we've done the train ride from Bryson City and stuff. So not necessarily, we didn't get as far as to where you're talking about, but that whole area, I mean, it's extremely uninhabited. I mean, there's a lot of wilderness. There's
Oh
nothing.
yeah, it's rugged.
Yeah, there's
It's a rugged area, and to for anyone to say, well, it could have been somebody playing a trick on, because I've thought about all the negative things that folks could say about that. Let me tell you, I don't know a human alive that would go to that extreme, because you'd have to have mountain climbing gear and
right.
stuff to get up where this was, and it's so remote. I don't even know how you would get to it from another direction, because it's miles, to another area where you could maybe park and walk into that, and then still be on the side of that slope up there. It just doesn't even make sense to me that anybody would even be trying to play a prank or something like
Yeah,
that.
and
In the middle of a week, in the middle of
right.
October. So
And to take a tree down like that, that
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that would take a little bit
yeah.
of
It would.
work to get a tree down that size.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't. It wasn't a small tree. It was a medium-sized tree. It was probably an 8 to 10 inch tree.
And I believe that
So
that area, that Nantahala, that's the Nantahala National Forest, isn't it? That whole area.
yeah,
So it's kind
yeah,
of a
that's right.
protected environment, which and if you're into researching Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and you know that there's a lot of people that run into these creatures in state parks, national parks, in protected
Yeah,
lands, on military
yeah,
installations. Um,
yeah. I never had been um, enthused with it or enthralled with it or whatever the word is. I'd never really thought about it much or even given it much of my time at all until it happened, and then I realized what it was later. That's when I really started watching other videos, and you can see a bunch on YouTube and that
right.
kind of stuff. But I think that one series that guy's got, that missing
Yeah.
series, those those are really really good, and it fits right in, with the hunters and
Yeah.
fishermen, seeing these or hearing all this stuff or seeing them if they're you know alone, and it always seems to happen when you're alone or just least expecting it, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I think I mean my thoughts are that when you're out like that, um I think there's a lot of times when I've heard many people say, "Oh, I've been out in the woods all my life. I've never seen nothing." But I think there's a lot of situations where these creatures are possibly around and people just don't know it. I think they're very observant.
Yeah,
Um, and, sometimes in like your situation, I think that they get basically pissed off for some reason or
yeah,
another because they're territorial. And I
yeah,
don't know if you've listened to, like Sasquatch Chronicles, but Wes Germer always talks about, he says, um, who's to say these creatures don't have demeanors like humans? I mean, no human is exactly the same, and
yeah,
you have dogs with different temperament and cats and other animals that have personality traits, and I think it's no different. I mean, why couldn't there be a Sasquatch running around that's just a jackleg, just wants to piss
yep,
people off or gets pissed off easily, or yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it could have been that I was too close to that side. They didn't want me, or he, whatever it
Right.
was, didn't want me on that side of the river,
Yeah.
at all. And maybe that was a warning at first, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I just don't believe it was a tree cracking and slowly popping or whatever. Because I've heard that before. I've heard trees, with ice on them, and then they pop, but they'll pop and come down just
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
They don't. It doesn't happen over minutes of time. So again, that tree was a healthy tree. It just none of it really registered with me. Like, why did that tree fall? Why did that one tree, come flying down the slope at me? And it's perfectly healthy. That didn't even come to my mind until 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That was a heck of an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. It makes you wonder, all the pops and cracks you heard before that. It makes you wonder if it was working on, like, pushing that tree down, or maybe it was other trees, smaller trees it snapped. Because I've heard people who've had, like, Class A sightings or something where they've had similar situations where these creatures have done similar things with knocking trees down. And I've heard stories where people said this thing just went on a rampage, tearing up the forest before it, like, bluff charged them or something. So, I mean, who knows?
It could have been. None of it was. It just wasn't. Like, I couldn't see up the slope and see what was happening, because I was looking all around. I was looking upstream, downstream, look all around. I just couldn't tell, because when you're in a gorge like that, and you've got the river sound and everything, you can't really tell where sound is coming from sometimes. It just kind of reverberates all around. So I was really clueless until the tree was coming, and I'm like, oh crap, that's a tree. I got to get out. I got to move. And that's all I was telling myself. And I'm dragging my rod behind me. I wasn't even really concerned about my line or my rod, because I didn't have time to think. I mean, it wasn't that was a flight or get killed kind of thing. So.
Well, I mean, I've camped a lot up in the Pisgah National Forest area, and when you get down on those creeks like that, even a smallest creek, that water can be, I mean, it just blocks out everything. So it's a wonder you heard that tree, coming through the trees. Because you could have been another missing 411 or, whatever.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's right. So, I don't know. That was like I said, it was an experience, that's for sure. And just, being alone, because, you don't think about it much until something like that happens. You're like, dang. They could have killed me, just like you said. I could have been under that tree. Nobody has ever known anything about it,
And who knows when somebody would have found you or whatever. But when did this happen?
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
It was 2020. It may have been in 15 or 14. It was before we bought the place we have now. We have a log cabin here in Nantahala. We've had it for 5 years, so it would have been in 2014. The last year, I think we had another place, so it would have been 2014.
Wow. I mean, that's fairly recent. I mean, that's not. And just go back to that area. It's just a wild area. It's just.
Yeah, if you've never been up here and if you haven't turned up and gone up Wayah Road, it's Wayah, and Wayah Bald is up here on top, from where we are. We're right here at the lake. Our cabin's right here at Nantahala Lake, but the river is down below us here, the upper Nantahala. But if you turn up Wayah, where they put in all the rafters there, and just going past that and just ride up the gorge up through there, it's pretty amazing what you see up through there. That's a pretty amazing ride.
I'll have to check that out, because I don't think I've ever been to that section of it. Like I said, we've only been from Bryson City to the outdoor center.
We're going past the outdoor center about, 8 or 9 miles, and you turn left.
Okay.
At Wayah Road, and that's where all those buses and everything turn left to take those people up there. And they've got a big put-in area, big concrete put-in area up there where they launch all the rafts.
And then they come down to the outdoor center from there. Okay.
Yes, yeah, yeah. You're just going up the gorge there on Warrior Road, and you'll see how wild and remote and I guess just untamed that area is.
I bet. I didn't even realize there was a gorge up there. I didn't realize that it came down from a gorge. So, I mean, I've been
Yep.
over to Linville and been to that gorge, but I didn't realize there was one at Nantahala.
Yeah, it's not as spectacular as like Tallulah area and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. It's not that spectacular, but it's still straight up and down. It's, especially as you ride on up, as you get like 4 or 5 miles on up through there, it begins to develop more and more and more into a steep crevasse, kind of like on
Yeah.
both sides of the road. And how they built that road up through there, I'll never know. I mean, it had to take a long time for them to build this road that's up through here.
Right. You're talking about, you didn't really realize what happened to you until weeks later. I was just thinking, when we got into this, well, really when I got into really looking at this years ago, because I've always had an interest in Bigfoot since I was a kid. But like many people, always thought it was just on the West Coast. But,
Yep.
since we've done this podcast, I really realized how many, and listening to other podcasts, not just ours, but listening to podcasts in general about the subject, how many encounters happen. I mean, like in all the states, with the exception of Hawaii, obviously, but, I mean, even here in South Carolina, you wouldn't think, but we've had a couple people we've talked to that have had encounters here, and we're getting ready to talk to somebody else that has, like, I guess they've had multiple questionable incidents and supposedly sightings on their property here in South Carolina, and
Yep.
I mean, and that's not even looking at a rugged terrain or isolated terrain like you're talking about, where you had your encounter. So that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I don't know. It was like you said. When I realized, it came to my mind what had happened and what it was. I mean, it was just like one of those moments, that you won't forget. That, oh crap, that's exactly what happened to me. And like I said, the cold chills and the whole thing, it's like, dang, that
Yeah,
really happened.
I mean, it takes your brain time to process something sometimes after it happens. I mean, it's kind of, I've never had an encounter or anything that I suspected to be an encounter, but like we've mentioned before on our podcast, our previous house, we had stuff happen. And when it happened, we really didn't think much about it, but after we moved to our new house and we got thinking back, and like we did a podcast episode about our previous house and things that happened, and now I look back, it's like, when we talk about this to people are like, why did you stay there? It's like, well, at the time we really didn't realize what was going on. It was enough spaced out that it wasn't something that was happening every day, but now we look back and we have like 10, 15, 20 incidents where we were like, yeah, that was really weird. How did we not realize that there was something, possibly some kind of paranormal something going on there? But it takes you time to process things, and that's, it's just how it is. I think that's how your body works when you get in a situation like that. The fight or flight kicks in. So.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, we appreciate you being willing to talk to us and come on here. That's
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem telling anybody about it, because what I'm saying is that it happened.
Yeah.
So it's the absolute truth. So I don't have any problem at all telling anybody about it and telling them who I am, because there's nothing about it that's
right.
not true.
And I mean, that's kind of how, when we were coming up for names for our podcast, that's how we came up with Unexplained Reality, because it was like, people have these weird encounters that they can't explain, but they really happen. So, I mean, nobody can take that away from you. So you can
Yeah,
talk trash
that's right.
about it all you want, but it's something that happened. Same thing with what
Yeah,
happened to our house. You know, we had stuff
yeah,
happen. My wife did see a shadow figure, and yeah, we can't
yeah,
explain it, but it happened. So,
yeah,
well, anyways, we appreciate you coming on, and we hope you have a good rest of the
yes, sir.
day. And thankfully,
All right.
it didn't turn out any worse than so.
No, that's right. That's right. Thankfully, I made it back across with and without
Right,
falling
right.
too. So,
Yeah, that could have been a bad situation
yeah,
in a lot of different ways.
yep, that's right.
All right, man.
All right, man.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Yep.
See ya.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
So, what did you think about Brian's encounter?
Thought it was pretty cool. I mean, just especially just the tree just coming through. You know, I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, what would you
that's
do if
scary,
you're in
yeah.
that situation?
In
You
the
know,
middle
you're
of
just sitting
yeah.
there minding your own business, and you hear this cracking noise or popping. You know, and all of a sudden a tree comes at you.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
I mean,
There's not much.
thankfully he was a reactive person, and he, you know, realized what was going on and moved because he. I mean, what would happen if you get hit by a tree that's 8-10 inches in diameter? Comes and it was a green tree, so it wasn't like it was
It
a
was
dead
dead,
tree.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, I don't know, man. That's freaky. I mean, we've been up in that area, not necessarily where he was at, but the Nantahala Gorge, not necessarily the gorge. I didn't realize there was a gorge up there, but the Nantahala, you know, Whitewater Center
Yeah.
and the Bryson City between that location, um, and it's a pretty remote area. I mean, there are some houses up there, but it's not like, I mean, it's a forest, it's mountains, and it's national forest. So, um, yeah, it was crazy. I'm glad Richard, you know, got us in contact with him, um, and we were able to talk to him because it was it's I I don't I don't know how I'd feel about. I mean, obviously, you don't know for sure what it was, but it doesn't seem like it was a tree that just fell over naturally.
Yeah.
Obviously, since it's a green tree and it was appeared to be snapped. So, I mean, unless you know you had a big storm going through, then you would had other trees
But yeah,
coming
but
down.
then you would have he would have realized if there
Right,
was
he
a
would have
storm on
known
top
that
of
was
him.
going on,
Yeah.
and yeah, so. Well, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad he's okay and lived to tell, and it just it makes you wonder why those kinds of situations happen. And it you know, it seems that you hear that a lot with people in situations where they're in water. You know, I've heard I don't know how many countless stories of people saying they were fishing in a boat somewhere in a mountain lake or something, and one of these creatures threw a rock at them, you know, that was too big, you know, that a man couldn't throw 50 or 60 feet
Yeah,
or,
at
you know,
such velocity, yeah.
yeah, 40, 50 yards to have one of a big rock thrown at them in the lake. And it happened multiple times. Um, in a lot of cases, you know, witnesses will actually see the creature, you know, after it happens, but that's not always the case. I've heard plenty of them where people said, you know, a big rock just landed like 5 feet from our boat. So, you know, after it happened like the second or third time, we knew it was time to
Yeah.
leave that area, you know. I don't think it would take more than once for
Yeah,
me to be
for me.
like, okay, well, I get the picture. Um, so, and I've heard on, not all these situations happen in mountains, in the mountain environment either. A lot of times it's in a river or somewhere where you wouldn't expect it to be coming down off a mountain. So, you know, you take that explanation off of the table. So, but anyways, yeah, it was a fascinating encounter, and I'm glad he shared it with us. We I think we have a couple more calls coming up in the next couple weeks, so we should be having some more interesting stuff going on. You have anything else to add before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody is surviving the pandemic and will continue to do so. And as usual, if you want to get in touch with us about a story or encounter or something you want to share, whether you want to be on the show episode or not, you can always reach us at unexplained.reality@yahoo.com. On our website, unexplainedreality.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. So, last words.
Crazy.
Buy a Frankenbird.
Bye, Frankenbird.
All right.
Please.
Excellent. All right. We're out. Later.
Liquor, 110 proof, pure grain alcohol. Barkeep, bring me a whiskey. Don't keep me waiting, come on down here and hit me. Give me a CC water back. How about a Jim Beam or a Jack? A Boilermaker with a beer chaser. Anything to get my mind over her in a shot glass. Hey Bob, you better call my job and tell that foreman I ain't coming in. I quit. Hey dog, you better back off. You see that bar stool by the jukebox is where I'm sitting. I got an ashtray filling fast. I already smoked half a pack. The more I drink, the less I think. So pour it now, we'll pour it fast in a shot glass. Yesterday's gone, so is tomorrow. But I'll be here tonight, drowning my sorrows in a shot glass. Get it? Give me a CC water back. I need a Jim Beam or a Jack. A Boilermaker with a beer chaser. Anything to get my mind over her in a shot glass.